With so many classes in WoW, it's hard to pick the right one for you. And today we're going to take a deep dive and I hope make things a little easier for you to make your choice. Each class will be reviewed in the days to come, so stick around for your favorite class to be reviewed. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of all new content. Now we'll start out with a quote from Medivh. No matter how learned and knowledgeable, how wise and how wonderful, how powerful and pursuant, there is always one more sliver of power, one more bit of knowledge, one more secret to be learned by any mage. Mages wear cloth armor and rely on mana to be able to cast DPS spells, but overall the mage class is very fun to play if you know what you're doing. This class offers 3 specs: Arcane, Fire, and Frost. Now be sure to stick around because later on in this video I will go over each of these specs and the pros and cons of each. Mages can use weapons like daggers, one-handed swords, staffs, and wands. But in my opinion, it seems more staffs drop for the mage than anything else, and are the most common transmog for any mage. Mages are the utility belt of WoW. They can make food, water without cooking, make portals, teleports, use blink, slowfall, and invisibility. The horde races that can be mage are Blood Elf, Goblin, Mag'har Orc, Nightbarn, Orc, Pandarian, Troll, Undead, Zandalari Troll, and of course the Vulpera. The alliance races that can be mage are Draenei, Dark Iron Dwarf, Gnome, Human, Kultiran, Lightforged Draenei, Night Elf, Pandarian, Void Elf, Worgen, and of course Mechanomes. Now the Arcane Mage uses things like Arcane Power, Arcane Barrage, Arcane Blast, Arcane Missiles, and Arcane Explosion to deal damage to the enemy while using spells like Prismatic Barrier, Slow, Blink, Polymorph, and Displacement to protect themselves against these enemies. Now the pros of being a Arcane Mage would have to be high movement, strong burst damage, and strong AoE damage. The cons would be the single target DPS with heavy cooldowns, weak cleave for 2 targets. The Fire Mage uses spells such as Combustion, Flame Strike, Pyroblast, and Fireball to kill your enemies with fire magic. They also use Dragon's Breath, Cauterize, Blazing Barrier to protect themselves. Pros would be high mobility due to a large amount of their spells being instant cast and doing massive DPS. Strong single target burst damage and fantastic cleave and execute. The cons would be AoE and cleave damage is only strong if the target is very close. And once the DPS has started, it's hard to stop and harder to not draw the aggro from a tank in a group. And finally, the Frost Mage who uses water elementals as pets. Spells like Frostbolt, Blizzard, Flurry, Ice Lance to slow and kill your enemy, while using Ice Barrier, Ice Block, and Frost Nova to protect yourselves. Now, the pros to being a Frost Mage is strong single target and cleave, decent mobility. While it may not be as good as the other 2 specs, it is decent. And damage is consistent. Now, consistent damage is something you always want, especially in raids and dungeons. Cons would be the damage relies on proc. weak burst damage, and cleave depends on your targets. Now each class in the game has a few perks, and for the mage that would be teleport, portal, polymorph, slow fall, blink, and invisibility. Now as for my personal opinion of mages, I think they're awesome, and I would not want to be in a raid without one. Mages are a blast to play, and while leveling, you save a ton of gold on food and water, but you don't have to buy. While many look at the class and base the choice to play or not to play on how much DPS it does, or how well it is about getting into a raid, or even how much gold it can make you. The biggest thing that I take into an account while making a new character and picking what class or even what race it will be is how much fun it will be. Now, if you make a class based on fun, you'll enjoy it more and it will show in how you play the character. You never ever want to make a class that you're going to feel like it's a chore when you play it, or like something your guild or friends wanted you to make and now you're stuck with it. Now I have a small ever growing army of alts, and at different times they've all been my main, or at the very least my escape into a little downtime when I go to a character but very few people know, so I'm not getting messaged and I can just get deep into the character. And even today, there's times that I log in, I want to throw a beat down with my warrior, or snap something with my hunter, or explore a new character, a new class combo, or what have you. The trick is to not get burned out. And remember, this is a game. If you enjoy something, do it. If you don't enjoy it, well, don't do it. In the end, you're here to have fun. And if something is not fun, don't waste your time. Also, keep in mind that players can tell if you're into your character and enjoy it or not. When they see that you're not into it and you're not enjoying that character and you don't know your character as well as some, invites will come less and less, if at all. Also, if you're going to be a raider as a mage, I would suggest you take some time before each raid, make up some food, water, if you can cook, make up a few feasts, because like it or not, most people see the mage as a vending machine. They expect you to be ready to feed them throughout the raid. Now, of course, this is my personal opinion of a mage. If you disagree, let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe, slap that bell icon, and until next time, level up with Hawk Gaming.